The most dangerous prison is not made of stone or steel. It is the one your own mind has built for you. It's a prison of automatic negative thoughts, of fears you mistake for facts, and of outdated beliefs you've carried since childhood. Most people live their entire lives within this prison, believing it is the whole of reality. They are tossed around by their moods, haunted by their past, and chained by their own self-doubt. But what if I told you that you hold the key to this prison? The great psychologist Carl Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Today, we are making the unconscious conscious. We are going to explore 12 mind-blowing psychology facts that will hand you the keys to your own mind. This is not just information. This is a revolution. 1. Rejection hurts like a physical injury. Let's start with one of the most painful human experiences. The psychological fact is that your brain processes emotional rejection in the exact same regions that it processes physical pain. Think about that. When you get ghosted after a date, when a friend gives you the silent treatment, or when you feel excluded by a group, the pain you feel is not just in your head. On a neurological level, your brain is firing in the same way it would if you had been physically struck. The ancient Roman philosopher and statesman Cicero wrote that the diseases of the soul are more dangerous and more numerous than those of the body. He understood that our emotional wounds are real wounds. This is why phrases like a broken heart or a slap in the face are not just metaphors. They are descriptions of a real biological event. When you understand this, you can stop judging your own pain. You can stop telling yourself to just get over it. You are not being overly dramatic. You are experiencing a genuine injury, and you must give yourself the same compassion and care you would for a physical wound. 2. Multitasking is a myth, and it's burning you out. You pride yourself on it. Juggling emails, a phone call, and a half-written report. Our culture celebrates it as a sign of productivity, but psychology has a blunt truth for you. Multitasking is a myth. Your brain cannot focus on two complex tasks at once. It simply cannot. What it does instead is switch back and forth between them with incredible speed. This is called task switching, and it comes at a huge cost. Every time you switch, you burn mental energy. You increase your stress levels, and you dramatically increase the likelihood of making mistakes. This is why, at the end of a day spent multitasking, you feel completely fried and exhausted. Yet you feel like you've accomplished nothing of substance. You haven't been multitasking. You have been giving yourself a mild, continuous brain injury. The philosopher Publilius Cyrus wisely said, "To do two things at once is to do neither." To reclaim your focus and your energy, you must slay the myth of multitasking. Do one thing, finish it, then do the next. It is the only path to deep, meaningful work. 3. A fake smile can genuinely make you happier. What if I told you there was a free, instant, and scientifically proven way to improve your mood? The psychological fact is that the physical act of smiling, even a fake, forced smile, tricks your brain into feeling happier. When you move your facial muscles into a smile, it sends a signal back to your brain that triggers the release of mood-boosting neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. Your brain essentially thinks, "My face is smiling, so I must be happy." And then it adjusts your emotional state to match the physical signal. This is a powerful example of what is called facial feedback hypothesis. The ancient Greek physician Hippocrates, the father of medicine, believed that the natural healing force within each one of us is the greatest force in getting well. You have a natural healing force right in your own face. You don't have to wait to feel happy to smile. You can smile to become happy. The next time you feel down, find a private place and just hold a smile for 60 seconds. It might feel ridiculous, but you are performing a simple, powerful act of psychological alchemy. 4. Overthinking shuts down your ability to solve problems. You believe you are analyzing a problem. You think you are being diligent. But psychology has a harsh word for what you are really doing: self-sabotage. The mind-blowing fact is that overthinking literally shrinks your brain's problem-solving capacity. When you are stuck in a loop of worry and rumination, you are not engaging the creative, solution-oriented parts of your brain, like the prefrontal cortex. Instead, you are activating the primitive, fear-based parts, like the amygdala. You are essentially telling your brain that you are under threat. In this state, your brain's only goal is survival, not clever problem-solving. It narrows your focus and shuts down creative thinking. You are not analyzing the problem, you are becoming the problem. As the Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu wrote, "If you are depressed, you are living in the past. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you're at peace, you are living in the present." Overthinking is the act of living anywhere but the present. To solve a problem, you must first escape the prison of your own obsessive thoughts about it. 5. Complaining trains your brain to be negative. It feels good, doesn't it? That little rush of validation when you complain about the traffic, your boss, or the weather, and someone agrees with you. But that momentary relief is a trap. The shocking psychological fact is that complaining physically rewires your brain to find negativity faster. Our brains are efficient. The neural pathways we use most often become stronger and faster, like a well-trodden path in a forest. Every time you complain, you're strengthening the neural pathway for negativity. You are literally training your brain to become an expert at spotting problems, annoyances, and injustices. You are building a superhighway for misery right in your own head. This is not a new idea. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus taught his students that it is not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. Complaining is the act of constantly applying negative judgments to reality. To change your life, you must change your neural pathways. And that starts with changing your words. 6. Writing down a worry makes it less powerful. Your mind is a chaotic storm of anxieties. They bounce around your head, gaining power with every loop. But there is a simple, almost magical way to disarm them. The psychological fact is that writing down your worries in specific detail significantly reduces their emotional power. This is not journaling. It is a form of cognitive surgery with a pen. When your worries are just abstract thoughts, they feel huge and overwhelming. But the act of writing forces you to translate that vague, emotional fear into concrete, logical language. You take it out of the emotional, chaotic part of your brain and move it to the analytical, problem-solving part. Once it's on the page, the worry is no longer an all-powerful monster hiding in the dark. It is just a sentence, a collection of words, something finite and manageable. You can look at it objectively. You can question its logic. You have taken the invisible monster and put it in a cage. As the famous author Anne Frank wrote in her diary, "I can shake off everything as I write. My sorrows disappear. My courage is reborn." 7. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. This is one of the biggest lies we tell ourselves, and it keeps millions of people stuck. The lie is, "I will do it when I feel motivated." The psychological truth is the exact opposite. Motivation follows action. It does not precede it. Waiting to feel ready is a trap. It is a form of procrastination disguised as wisdom. Your brain does not generate the feeling of motivation in a vacuum. It generates it as a reward for having taken a small step. The ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle had a similar insight about character. He said that we become just by doing just acts, and we become brave by doing brave acts. We do not wait to feel brave to act. We act, and in the acting, we become brave. The same is true for motivation. You will not feel motivated to go to the gym. But if you can just put on your shoes and walk out the door, the smallest possible action, your brain will release a tiny bit of dopamine, a small reward. That reward is the feeling of motivation. Action is the spark that lights the fire of motivation. Stop waiting for the fire. Just create a single spark. 8. You are constantly editing your own memories. You think of your memory as a perfect video recording of the past. It is not. The mind-blowing fact is that your memory is reconstructive. Every time you recall an event, your brain actively edits and alters it. It fills in gaps with plausible details. It smooths over inconsistencies. It subtly shifts the narrative to better fit your current beliefs and self-image. Your brain is not a videotape. It is a bad film director, constantly re-editing the movie of your life. This is why eyewitness testimony is so notoriously unreliable. It's why two siblings can have completely different memories of the same childhood event. Neither is necessarily lying. Their brains have just reconstructed different versions of the truth. The philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche once wrote, "I have done that," says my memory. "I cannot have done that," says my pride, and remains inexorable. Eventually, memory yields. Your memory is not a servant of truth. It is a servant of your ego and your current emotional state. Understanding this is liberating. It means you can stop being a prisoner of a past that likely never happened the way you remember it. 9. Gratitude literally rewires your brain for happiness. It sounds like a cheesy cliche from a self-help book, but the hard science is undeniable. The psychological fact is that a consistent practice of gratitude physically rewires your brain for happiness and resilience. Just like complaining builds a superhighway for negativity, gratitude builds a superhighway for positivity. When you actively scan your life for things to be thankful for, even small things, like the taste of your morning coffee or the warmth of the sun, you are training your brain to become an expert at spotting the good. Studies have shown that people who keep a simple gratitude journal have lower levels of stress hormones, are more optimistic, and are more resilient in the face of adversity. This is not just a change in attitude, it is a change in your physical brain structure. You are literally building a more joyful brain. The Roman orator Cicero called gratitude not only the greatest of virtues, but the parent of all the others. It is the foundational skill for a well-lived life. 10. Anxiety is often just unused energy. That feeling of anxiety, the racing heart, the swirling thoughts, the sense of impending doom, it feels like a malfunction. It feels like a weakness. But what if it isn't? A powerful psychological insight is that anxiety is often just raw, unspent, and undirected energy. Think of it like a powerful river that has been dammed up. The water has nowhere to go, so it starts to churn and build pressure, threatening to break the dam. That chaotic, churning pressure is the feeling of anxiety. The energy is not the problem. The lack of direction is the problem. The solution, then, is not to suppress the anxiety, but to give that energy a channel. The most effective channel is physical movement. Go for a run. Do push-ups. Dance in your living room. When you move your body, you open the floodgates. You give that powerful pent-up energy a constructive purpose. You are not running from your anxiety. You are running with it, transforming its chaotic power into focused action. 11. Procrastination is usually a fear of not being perfect. You think your procrastination is a sign of laziness. You beat yourself up for being undisciplined. But psychology offers a more compassionate and accurate explanation. The fact is, most procrastination is not caused by laziness, but by a deep-seated fear of imperfection. The task feels so big, and the standard you've set for yourself is so impossibly high, that the thought of starting and potentially failing to meet that standard is terrifying. So you do nothing. The inaction feels safer than imperfect action. Laziness is not caring. Procrastination is caring too much. It is the fear of handing in a B+ paper that prevents you from writing a single word. The writer, G.K. Chesterton, gave us the perfect antidote to this paralysis. Anything worth doing is worth doing badly. Give yourself permission to be imperfect. Write a terrible first draft. Do a sloppy first workout. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is to begin. 12. You can rewire your brain at any age. This is perhaps the most hopeful and profound discovery in all of modern psychology. The fact is that your brain is not fixed. It can and does rewire itself based on your thoughts and actions at any age. This is called neuroplasticity. You are not stuck. The anxious patterns, the negative beliefs, the bad habits that you think define you, they are not your permanent identity. They are just well-trodden neural pathways, and you have the power to create new ones. Every time you choose gratitude over complaint, every time you choose action over procrastination, every time you choose self-compassion over self-criticism, you are acting as your own neuroscientist. You are physically weakening the old, overgrown paths of suffering and carving out new, clear paths of well-being. The ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus said, "No man ever steps in the same river twice, for it's not the same river, and he's not the same man." This is not just poetry, it is a biological fact. You are not the same person you were yesterday, and you have the power to decide who you will become tomorrow. As we have seen, your mind is not a fixed, unchangeable entity. It is a dynamic, living, and remarkably malleable landscape. It is a garden. For years, you may have been unconsciously tending the weeds, the complaints, the anxieties, the self-doubt. You have strengthened their roots without even realizing it. But you are not a prisoner of this garden. You are the gardener. You have the power to stop watering the weeds. You have the power to plant new seeds of gratitude, of action, of self-compassion. You have the power to carve new, beautiful pathways in your own mind. This is the key that unlocks the prison. The understanding that your thoughts are not your identity. They are your tools. And you can learn to use them to build a life, not of suffering, but of freedom, purpose, and peace.